Hello, Money Masters! Have you heard about the very famous books Rich Dad, Poor Dad? You will never be poor again if you listen to the advice from the Rich Dad. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the book, has done a great job summarizing these tips in his hit book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki is an American investor, author, businessman, motivational speaker, and a financial commentator who became well known in recent years and has an estimated net worth of $100 million. Do you want to know something interesting? He was not even raised in a wealthy family. His family was one of those hard-working families that struggled with money due to lack of financial education and often at times struggled with money. Don't get me wrong, his poor dad made a lot of money, but how he handled his money resulted in him and his family struggling with money all the time. Kiyosaki didn't become successful overnight, nor was he born into wealth. When Kiyosaki was 9 years old, he was enrolled in a public school where many doctors, lawyers, and other successful and wealthy people sent their kids to. As expected, the rich kids distanced themselves from him due to his poverty and inability to afford the same things as them. Soon after, Kiyosaki went to his father with a simple question. "Dad, how do I get rich?" His father, or as referred to in the book, Poor Dad, went on to give him the generic parental guidance. Go to school, get good grades, and set yourself up with a stable job in the future. Little did Kiyosaki know that this was the best answer he could give, as clearly he didn't know how to get rich, even though he was making lots of money. Unsatisfied with his dad's response, Kiyosaki was later introduced to a new friend at school, Mike, and later introduced to Mike's father, Rich Dad. An opposite Poor Dad in many ways, this man always provided great advice to Kiyosaki and Mike in personal finance, investing, and building wealth. Rich Dad, while not incredibly wealthy at the time of his mentoring, soon became one of the richest men in Hawaii. And the lessons and financial foundation he passed on to Kiyosaki would change his life forever, eventually resulting in his own millionaire status. Lesson number 1. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. One distinction to be made clear from the beginning is the difference between assets and liabilities. Do you know what is the difference between assets and liabilities? Kiyosaki defines an asset as something that has value, produces income, or appreciates. Assets are what allow the rich to make money passively. Rich people buy assets to create income and make money. They buy businesses, stocks, rental properties, and generate income from them when not working. Lesson number 2. It's not how much money you make that matters, it's how much money you keep. You see, it doesn't really matter how much money you can make if you end up spending it all. Poor Dad made a lot of money, but his expenditures and credit card debt kept growing, never allowing him to save and invest any of his income. On the other hand, Rich Dad kept buying assets that would bring him more income over time. The problem is that the poor and the middle class acquire liabilities, but they think those are assets. Think about it. With your income, you can buy a car that will be worthless in a couple of years, but if you buy a rental property, stocks, or a business that generates income, you can then use the income to buy what you need, while the value of your original investment continues to grow. You will never run out of money, and your investments keep growing and generating more income year after year. Lesson number 3. Mind your own business, focus on your assets, and build and maintain a group of assets. The important principle here is that you understand it's not how much money you have, it's about how you take advantage of it. As mentioned before, Poor Dad was making quite a lot of money from his job, but his expenses seemed to always keep up with his income, never allowing him to invest. As a result, his liabilities such as mortgages and credit card debt increased over time, and sadly, this is what drove Poor Dad into debt even after he passed away. On the other hand, Rich Dad used liability, which was his borrowing power, to buy assets that generate more income. This income would then cover expenses, and the remaining balance would be reinvested into the asset column, which continued to grow, and therefore the income with it continued to increase. Lesson number 4. Overcoming obstacles. These obstacles are fear, greed, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. Robert learned from Rich Dad that the truth about the general population is that their lives are run forever by emotions such as fear and greed that keeps them stuck in a pattern of getting up, going to work, pay bills, get up, go to work, and pay bills. Fear has them in the trap of working, earning money, and hoping this pattern will go away when they have enough money. In this pattern, poor dad, instead of confronting his fear, reacted emotionally. The issue with most people is that they work for money. They continue to put in the time and the hours for the security of having that job and receiving that paycheck. Robert Kiyosaki left his stable job at Xerox, not afraid to lose that weekly paycheck and not afraid to take risks. He left to generate money and have money work for him. Sure, it took time and effort, but it opened a lot of doors and opportunities for him. Lesson 5. Work to learn, don't work for money. Rich people work to learn and not for job security. The rich dad here does not work for money, he enjoys making money. On the other hand, poor dad enjoys making money for the joy that it will create from buying stuff. This joy is often short-lived and soon ends, and that is the story of many. Lesson number 6. Pay attention to financial literacy and learn. Unfortunately, most schools don't teach about this, and if you don't learn it, you'll become a slave to money. You must increase your financial IQ by learning about accounting, investing, tax laws, and understanding the market. For example, the rich uses setting up corporation to use tax loopholes and pay less taxes and keep more of their own money. Your financial IQ is the strategy of all these skills and talents combined. You see, both dads worked hard, but they have opposing attitudes and thoughts. One dad recommended study hard so you find a good company to work for. The other recommended study hard so you can find a good investment to buy. One said, when it comes to money, play it safe and don't take a risk. The other said, learn to manage risk. One said, I can't afford that. The other said, how can I afford that? Although both men had tremendous respect for education and learning, they disagreed on what they thought was important to learn. In summary, as Rich Dad always says, the definition of wealth is not having to work for money, but rather having money work for you. We hope you put these skills in your daily life decisions to build wealth. Thanks guys for watching. Click that like and that subscribe button to follow us and receive our weekly dose of money intelligence and live the life of Rich Dad.